Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. I hope you are having a wonderful day, and yes, this is something new on my channel. I am going to be interviewing Eric Hall today. If you don't know, March is Cerebral Palsy Awareness Month. You guys seen me talk about this on my channel multiple times, but you've always heard portions of my story, so I thought it would be fun to share somebody else's experience and see it through their eyes instead of you always seeing it through mine. So, Eric, my guests are very excited to see you, and they're excited to hear about this.
I'm excited to be doing it with you.
I appreciate you for doing this because I know how people feel about being on camera. So I'm very happy for that.
Well, let's just put it this way: everything isn't for everybody. So, some people enjoy being in front of the camera. Other people are scared to death. So, yeah.
Okay. So what I'm gonna start off by telling you guys, we are not doctors, so we cannot give you a diagnosis to tell you if you or your child has cerebral palsy, but I will leave information in the description box of this video where you can find places to have your child tested or have yourself tested or any of those natures. But we are not doctors. We are just people that are living with it. But we cannot give you a diagnosis.
Absolutely not.
Exactly. So let me start off by explaining what the technical definition of cerebral palsy is, which in most cases, most people don't follow the technical definition of cerebral palsy because it's different for everyone. So they won't fall into the technical definition. But if you don't know what it is, it's easier to give you the technical version and then have somebody explain to you how it affects them. So according to the CDC website, cerebral palsy is a group of disorders that can affect the person's ability to move or maintain posture or balance. And you mostly can find this in a person's childhood. You would see it as they're growing up and developing.
Yes.
So, Eric, my first question for you is, when did your parents find out, or how did they find out that you had cerebral palsy?
I'm not really clear as to how they found out, but as far as them finding out when they found out, I think I was probably about maybe a year old, maybe a little younger than that.
No, that's interesting. Mm-hmm. So, do you know, did they ever explain to you what they first noticed that was different, that was concerning to them? Do you know?
No.
So let me give you guys a little bit of information from my experience and the people that I've talked to, like doctors and my mom. The typical thing that our baby are supposed to do at 6 months is most likely hold up their head and hold a bottle. Me in particular, I wasn't able to do any of those at 6 months. And my mom always used to say that she noticed that my legs would just dangle and it looked it off to her. So maybe that's how some parents start asking questions. She said it just looked off to her and she wondered why. And I remember her telling me that the first doctor she talked to just said it was a delay and that it would get better because I was premature. So when your parents found out and you were old enough to understand that you had cerebral palsy, did they tell you right away, or was it like in increments or spurts?
They didn't really have to tell me much of anything. I kind of figured it out. So in a way, I kind of figured it out. I always knew that I would have some, difficulties with moving around and things like that. And another thing that I've always had to deal with are, and you know this too, muscle spasms. Oh gosh. I mean, they can hit at any time, and they are very, very unpleasant, not to mention very painful at their worst, especially when you're trying to sleep.
So,
But
can
it's
you explain to the audience what a muscle spasm is in your case?
okay, well, anybody who's ever had a Charlie horse or any sort of cramp, add an electric shock to that and multiply that 1,000 times over.
Interesting. I've never heard it explained like that. That's an interesting analogy to me because I've never heard anyone explain it like that. I
That's
kind
how
of
it
like
feels.
that though.
Yeah, I mean, if you've had them, and I'm pretty sure you have, then you know that pain all too.
Yes. But for me, they didn't really start out as painful. They weren't when I was younger. To me, they would just start shaking, and I'd be like, okay, is this going to stop? And it would last like 30 seconds. As I've gotten older, they still shake, but they've turned into cramps. So when I was younger, I honestly didn't pay it any mind because I didn't feel it. I just
Okay,
saw it more than anything.
okay. And I've also had my share of surgeries related to this.
That was going to be my next question.
Hmm.
When was your like first surgery and what was it initially?
Wow. My first surgery was good grief. I believe 1989. I was two going on three, and I had both of my Achilles tendons worked on for whatever reason, and I had some hamstring release work done at that particular time.
Mhm. So if
And
you
then I
guys don't know what your hamstring is, it's like the muscle that runs in the back of your leg.
exactly,
And your Achilles tendon is near your ankles.
yeah, there you are.
So basically what they try to do, or at least the way it was explained to me, if you have your hamstrings done, they feel like your muscles are too tight.
Yeah,
And your muscles are like this, and they want to stretch them enough to give them like some kind of elasticity. So
yes,
they go in and cut. And for your Achilles tendon, for the amount of pressure that it would take a person to walk, they don't want to put too much pressure on it if it's already tight because then your Achilles can snap. Then that would require more surgery
yeah,
if it snaps.
and believe me, the three surgeries I've had, those surgeries I had are more than enough for me because I've had that type of surgery. I had it in 89, again in 94, and one final time in July of 2000.
So you were 2 or 3 when you had it the first time, and
Yeah.
you were about 8 or 9 the
Yeah,
second time.
I had just had my 8th birthday because this was in the like right in the middle of December, I think.
Mm-hmm.
This was in December of '94, and I finished my rehab. I came home on Valentine's Day, 1995.
So do you think each time you had this surgery, the recovery process was harder, or did it get easier because you had it done before?
Well, by me being younger, it didn't really take as much time to heal. But my last one, it took quite a bit of time for me to heal because the older you are, the more time it takes for you to heal.
Mm-hmm.
And during that final procedure, there was a nerve that was damaged in my right foot that caused a great deal of pain. And that really started to interfere with my blood pressure. And one day the nurse, she went to check my blood pressure and it was 200 over 150 something. And I was informed that if it didn't go down when it had, I was at risk for suffering a stroke.
Yeah, that's definitely stroke territory. I'm glad that you did not have a stroke and they caught that as quickly as they did.
Yeah. And over the years, I've come to accept it because, a lot of people, I'm pretty sure you've had those kind of cynics out there that think being in a wheelchair is all glitz and glamour, it's fun and all of that. Newsflash, it's not.
No, it's not. Thank you for watching part 1 of this interview. Part 2 will be out on Tuesday. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments section of this video. And if you have a story to share your story, because you never know whose hearts you will touch and how much help you can be. And always remember, I am thinking of you, sending my love, and bye for now.